In our last episode, we learned about the discovery of Pluto, led by a man who insisted that it was there after first insisting that Mars had seasons, trees, crops, waterways, and, oh yeah, Martians. So Percival Lowell was wrong about Mars, but he was right about Pluto, and we ended up with the 9th planet from the Sun. Until we didn't. So what happened? On today's 5-minute trivia, we conclude with part 2 on Pluto.
We choose to go to the moon.
Right now, you like me.
Practice? We talking about practice, man.
Welcome to 5-minute trivia, where we're making the world smarter 5 minutes at a time. I'm your host, R.M. Zuberi. At the end of our last episode, we had Pluto, not just the 9th planet from the Sun, but also the darling of the 3rd planet, Mickey Mouse's dog, the element plutonium, plutonic relationships. Okay, maybe not that one. But life is good with Pluto, right? Right? Okay, so here's the problem. You remember Percival Lowell from our last episode. He said there were thousands of miles of canals on Mars. But they weren't even an inch long because they didn't exist. So why is that relevant? Because when Lowell predicted the existence of Planet X, which became Pluto, he said it would be the size of 7 Earths. Lowell ended up being a little off. And by a little, we mean way off. Pluto was not the size of 7 Earths, not even close. At its discovery, that estimate shrank down to 1 Earth. It got even smaller in 1978 when astronomers realized that the blurry image they thought was all Pluto was actually Pluto and its moon, Charon. By 2006, astronomers calculated that instead of Pluto being the size of 7, or even 1 Earth, it would actually take 459 Plutos to make up 1 Earth. Pluto is tiny. So tiny, in fact, that it would only be a matter of time before something came along that was bigger. And something did. An object beyond Neptune and 27% larger than Pluto was discovered by a team at Caltech. It was called Eris, after the Greek goddess of strife and discord. Kind of an appropriate name because its discovery triggered a lot of strife and discord about Pluto. Were both Pluto and Eris planets? Maybe just Eris was. Maybe neither of them were. Something had to be done about those two, as well as a bunch of other newly discovered objects in the solar system. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union met to propose rules for what a planet is. And they came up with 3. The first was that a planet must orbit the sun. Number 2, it must be massive enough to be rounded by its own gravity. And number 3, it must clear its neighborhood of any other objects. That means that there are no other bodies other than its own moon under its gravitational influence. And it's that last one that takes Pluto out of the planetary conversation. It's just one of many objects in its neighborhood, a region of space called the Kuiper Belt. You could call any one of them a planet, or maybe all of them. The IAU decided that none of them were. They reclassified Pluto, along with Eris, Ceres, Haumea, and Makemake, as dwarf planets. Not all scientists agree with that decision. Planetary scientists mainly don't and say that being rounded by its own gravity is enough to make Pluto a planet along with all the others. I mean, we don't have a limit on the number of planets that are allowed in a solar system, so the more the merrier, right? Others have pointed out that only a small minority of astronomers belong to the IAU, and who put them in charge anyway? So the controversy continues. But in Arizona, it's official. Pluto is our state planet. You come for Pluto, you come for us. That's our show this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on 5 Minute Trivia.